Kings of the North, Emperors, Lords, Champions. What a great season we had last year. It feels like we don't get to do a lot of those, so how special was a year like that? So many mind-blowing moments, a lot of joy, so I am feeling, as countless Bears fans are, hopeful. Hopeful for another good season, hopeful to see our franchise quarterback drop dimes all over the field, hopeful, maybe, for another Super Bowl. We'll see if that happens. But first, we have to get through the season. So how are we gonna do? Well, as a Bears fan, I think the season could go one of three ways. And that's kind of gonna cover the broad scope of how seasons go anyway. But I've got reasons. I've got my reasons. I'm not just saying it. I've got reasons backing up each one of those possibilities. So option one, the season stinks. Last season turns out to have just been a fluke brought on by some really fortunate turnovers by an otherwise bad defense. This season, Caleb Williams turns out to not be the guy. You know, outside of having a couple of really good plays every game, he just isn't where he needs to be. His accuracy never gets any better, and his leadership skills fall apart when he loses the locker room. Our draft picks don't shine like they really should be. Our O-line falls apart without Drew Dahlman. And DJ Moore's failed catch at the end of the year turns out not to have just been because he didn't run the route properly. He actually, it shows that there were other issues at play there. So all of these issues combine to mean the Bears were flukes. They just had one good season, and it was out of nowhere for no good reason other than just a perfect storm of good combination of who knows what. And this year, we go right back to rock bottom, and Ben Johnson is not able to turn the franchise around, and things go very poorly. So that's one possibility. Another is that we kind of do what we did last year. We play really good, surprisingly good, but never really top tier, never really good enough to beat the teams like the ones we lost to last season with the 49ers and the Rams and the Lions. We play really well, but we're never really able to get dominant. We never shine like we could. Caleb Williams stays in the middle of the pack again, having a few good plays and continuing to avoid sacks and leading the team well, but he's still struggling with accuracy issues. The new players we get are okay. They hold up, but they don't shine like some of our players did last season. All of that to mean we end up in second, third place in the North. We get a playoff berth, but are one and done, knocked out immediately. And that's option two. And then option three, Ben Johnson knows what he is doing. Caleb Williams shines like the star we all think he is. And our new players just really click with the team. Everything goes great. Our O-line doesn't take a hit from losing Drew Dahlman. Our defense actually comes together and starts playing really well. If all of this happens, then this team could be dominant. You know, Ben Johnson just went out and talked about how he wants us to have the highest scoring offense in NFL history. If that's true, they very well could be the number one seed in the NFC or in the league altogether and be Super Bowl contenders. And as a Bears fan, I am very tempted to say that last option is the most likely. I want to say it, but I think I'll be a little more reserved. I believe the Chicago Bears will be somewhere between how they were last year and a top-tier team this year. I know our defense will be better, but we're not going to get anywhere near the number of turnovers we did last year. So I think it'll even out a little bit. So we'll probably do better in general, and that will help the whole team out, but it's still not going to be as good as a real, true Super Bowl contender defense should be. Now, as for Caleb Williams, I still have my reservations. I know. He has clearly shown himself to be incredible in some areas, but he's still got a lot to prove in others. For instance, although a lot of people like to say that completion percentage isn't that big of a deal because a lot of those misses are throwaways and they're actually really good decisions from Caleb Williams, I still don't think that's enough. The difference between a good quarterback and an elite quarterback is being able to turn plays that should be negative or neutral into positives. So he really needs to turn that around if he wants to become a contender. And he has shown the potential to do that. He absolutely has. His ability to avoid sacks is remarkable, but he still has to be able to consistently avoid sacks and make connection downfield without blowing it past a wide open receiver. With all that being said, here's how I think the season is going to go, assuming their injuries don't drag us down too badly, because that's always hard to predict. You don't want to see it happen. So let's get into it. Week 1, we play against the Carolina Panthers. Now, the Carolina Panthers last year were kind of on a similar trajectory to how the Bears were. Not really expected to do well, but surprisingly made it into the playoffs and have a lot of hope going into the season. I think they'll probably be a pretty solid team, a lot of room to grow, but not bad. Now keep in mind this is in Carolina, which should give them an advantage, so I'll say it's a pretty evenly matched game here. I think the Bears are just going to be the better team. I think they will show up and play very well against a very good team and come out and get a win on the road, which is a great way. It's a great way to start the season. It will look better and better as the season goes on because the Panthers will also keep winning games, so the Bears start 1-0, heading back home for the home opener, which this year is played against Minnesota. I think it's pretty fair to say that Kevin O'Connell is going to make that team good again. Now that Kyler Murray is the starting quarterback instead of 9, they're probably going to be pretty competent, if not downright dangerous, like they were when they had Super Bowl champion Sam Darnold on their team. But they're going up against a solid Bears team as well, and it's going to be at home for us. I'm calling this a win for the Bears. Next up are the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, we all remember the electric win the Bears had over the Eagles last season. I think the Eagles will still be struggling. I think we will show up in force. Plus, this is a home game this year instead of an away game. I am absolutely calling this a win for the Bears. I could see it being somewhat close. I think all 3 of these last games will be at least a little close, maybe 1-score games, all of them, but I'm still going to say the Bears play pretty well. They take it to the Eagles in this game. I don't think it's going to come down to the final play. I think the Bears will run down the clock, even if it is a 1-score game. They'll have possession, kill the game, and then it will be a win for us. Now, after the Eagles, the Bears face the New York Jets at home as well. I absolutely do not think the Jets are going to be a threat this season. I think they will be just as bad as they have been in recent years, and former Lions DC Aaron Glenn will be sitting in a very hot seat very early on in the season. He will not have shown any evidence that he's going to turn the Jets into a viable professional football team. Easy win for the Bears. And then they move on to Week 5 with a 4-0 record and an absolutely fantastic start to the year. Does that mean we're going to go undefeated? Well, Week 5 sees the Bears take on the dreaded Green Bay Packers. I know we had 2 wins over the Packers last year, but I would like to point out how absolutely abysmal the Bears played in all 3 of those games. Even though we came out with a win in 2 of them, and we could have won all 3, we did not play well in a single one. Never took a snap with the lead in over 180 minutes played. Maybe the Packers will collapse in the end like they did last year, but this is a home game for them, which they won last year. I'm going to call it for the Packers. The Bears go 4-1. And finally face their first loss against a rough and tumble divisional rival, though, so it's respectable. Coming off a stinging first loss of the season, the Bears head to Atlanta to play a likely Michael Penix-led Falcons team. I kind of doubt Tua's health is trustworthy enough to make him QB1. I do think the Falcons could have what it takes to make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to be particularly dangerous in their first year under Kevin Stefanski. I think the Bears will steal away a win on the road against a bird team once more, 5-1. Next up is a Week 7 game at home against the Patriots. Of course, the Patriots, coming off a Super Bowl appearance, will probably be a solid team to play, but this is the Super Bowl we should have had. Bears versus Patriots. And so we will finally get to show how the Bears would have absolutely exposed the Patriots as frauds, just like Seattle did in a very easy win over this team. That rematch of Super Bowl 20 might not have been played in the Super Bowl, but it will be played right here. We are going to take it to the Patriots and show the world that they really are not an all-star team like the Bears are going to be. Now, immediately following the Patriots game, the Bears head to Seattle to play the actual Super Bowl champions led by Sam Darnold. Now, unlike the Patriots, who were frauds last year, the Seahawks were a very, very good team. Had the Bears won against the Rams and played the Seahawks, in all likelihood, we probably would have gotten it handed to us like they did the Patriots. I don't think that's going to change here. Unfortunately, the Seahawks are still going to be a very, very good team, and it's on the road for us, Bears. We're not going to win. It's going to be a Seahawks game. It's probably going to be a pretty solid Seahawks game. I think we'll probably lose by multiple scores, if I'm being honest. It's just going to be the way it is. I don't think the Bears will quite be at contender level yet, and that's going to show in a loss to the Seahawks in Week 8. Bears go 6-2. Now for Week 9, the Bears head back home to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, Baker Mayfield will probably play pretty well, but I don't think they're going to be as good as the Bears. It's at home. We've got what it takes to still be a very, very solid team, and the Buccaneers are just not going to be there. So we're going to take the win at home here. The Bucs, who I believe are the team who will be on collapse watch this season. They could do as bad as 2-15 on the year. Not that I think they will collapse, just I think we might want to keep an eye on them. So 7-2 heading into the bye week. Now, I don't like having a bye week super late in the season, but this, kind of in the middle, might be exactly what we need. I think by now we will have quite a few injuries piling up, and this extra week of rest is really going to help right when we need it, and we'll get some players back in playing form and raring to go for a Week 11, and come back very well rested and very dominant. Still ringing. So, we're coming off of a bye week, and we're going to be in good form, and I think that's going to matter against our Week 11 opponent, the New Orleans Saints, who last year tied for a playoff spot, but lost out due to tiebreakers. Under Tyler Shuck, I think they're going to be really, really good. Plus, as a Louisville Kings fan, they just picked up our kicker, Tanner Brown, who, mind you, is the only player in professional football to have 2 60-plus yard field goals in the same game. That means he's good. He is going to be a threat we need to accept, and the whole league is going to have to reckon with, and he will probably help them a lot. That being said, I don't think the Bears are going to lose. Like I said, they're going to come off a bye week right when they need it. They're going to be very dominant against a good Saints team. It's going to be close, but it's going to be a Bears win at home against the Saints, and we're moving on to Week 12 and the Detroit Lions away game. I think the Lions this year are going to be a good team. I have to assume last year was just kind of an off year due to some of the issues they were having with losing coaches and injuries, and that they're going to turn it around. Dan Campbell will get his team back in good form. I think they're going to do well again this season, and they're going to be a formidable foe. Remember, last year, the Bears didn't win either of their games against them. Pretty handily, too. The Lions played very well. And I don't know if it's just because Dan Campbell knows Ben Johnson a little too well and can read him pretty solidly or what, but I think the Bears are going to go toe-to-toe with them. Unfortunately, the NFC North is one of the most hardcore divisions in football. All three of our rivals could easily sweep all of our games against us. And it won't be because we stink, it will be because they're just that good. I think we will probably end up splitting the series, win at home, loss on the road. So for now, I'll say this is a road loss against a very impressive Lions team. Ben Johnson just seems to get a little too cute when he's playing against his former team, though we'll get back at them later in the season. I'll get that later. So for Week 13, we play against Duval, the Jacksonville Jaguars. We will be playing against the ascendant Jacksonville Jaguars, coming off an impressive season and strong playoff appearance. Even if it was just one game and a loss, I think they look like they've turned a corner, and that they're going to be very assertive this year as a result. I think it will be a nail-biter against Jacksonville. But this game is going to be the Bears' statement win of the season. Both teams look like they could go far in the playoffs, and it could be a lot closer than anybody expects. An all-timer talked about years later, one of the best games of the season. But I do think we're going to take away a win. It's going to be rough, but we're at home. I think we'll do it. People will start, after this game, they will start to talk about the Bears as favorites to win the Super Bowl, as the Bears will advance to 9-3 and look pretty strong doing it. Now we head to Miami for a road game against the Dolphins. The Dolphins are entering the season with a new head coach after Mike McDaniels fell apart. It's not going to be a good season for them. They're going to have a lot of rough patches. They're going to really be trying to make something out of nothing. This is going to be another road win for the Bears. We'll go 10-3. Not much else to say about that. Just a nice, simple, easy week for the Bears. Probably the least stressful win of the season. And then we stay on the road for a game up in Buffalo, which, despite the fact that they also have a new head coach, firing longtime head coach Sean McDermott, they still have Josh Allen, and they are still a good team. The reason they got rid of McDermott was simply because he wasn't able to get them over the hump in the playoffs. They're still going to be good. They're still going to be a tough game on the road against a good team. I don't think the Bears are going to take a win out here, but you're not going to win all of them. It'll come down to the quarterbacks, and unless this is Williams' MVP year, which could, I don't think it will be, Allen will lead his team to victory. This will just be one where we say, yeah, this is a sign the Bears are not quite Super Bowl contenders just yet, just like the 49ers game last season. And now it's time for the Packers home game. I wouldn't be surprised if we do exactly the same thing where we let them blow us out to start, but then claw our way back in the fourth and win. I don't know if it'll be as dramatic as the last games, but it probably won't be great. You know, I don't think the Packers will have to deal with as many injuries as they did last season. Hopefully not. Certainly, you don't like winning games off of injuries. So we'll see. But I think we'll be able to pull out a win. It'll be tough, but it is a Bears team that is a competent Bears team with good coaching and good players. I think we'll get the win here, split the series with the Packers, and the Lions will also be playing against at home. This is the win we'll have against them, and we'll be glad to get it too. So we'll advance on the season to 12-4 heading in to the final week of the year. And by this point, I actually think our position will be pretty well locked up. One way or the other, we just won't really have to worry about playing for a final position. I say we rest our starters in week 17. The Vikings, who will be playing on the road, will still be trying to find a playoff spot. I actually don't think they're going to get in, but they're going to be playing as best they can, hoping that the dice will fall in their favor, trying to get a win against our backups. I think they're going to get it. It's going to drop us to 12-5 on the season, which is still an improvement over last year. And we'll say, hey, look, we're still a growing team. We're still doing a lot better than years prior. We're growing. We're getting better. This was a good season with a lot of really good moments. And this will truly establish the Chicago Bears as a very dominant team in this league going into the future. So yeah, going into this season, it's a good situation we're in because I think a lot of our tough opponents we're going to be playing at home, which gives us an advantage. And a lot of our road opponents are kind of going to be weaker teams, and that also gives us an advantage. So I think it's just kind of that we've got an easier schedule this year. And that's with a first place schedule. Obviously, we've got to see how the teams actually play once the season starts. And who knows if the Dolphins will actually be horrible or if the Bills will still be good. But if my prediction is right, and I think it will be, we'll probably end up with a reasonable, respectable 12-5 record, which gives us a playoff berth and gives us another opportunity to play our hearts out for a Super Bowl. Now, I'd love to discuss how the Bears are going to do in the playoffs, but I'll say that's outside of the scope of this video. I started writing that section, and it just became about every team in the playoffs, so it'll have to be its own video. I've already got it in the works, so look forward to that in the next day or two. It won't be nearly as long as this one, pretty quick actually, but I just want it to be its own thing, separate from this one. In the meantime, I am Aide-de-Camp. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment whether you think the Bears will make the playoffs again this year and how well you think your favorite team will do. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you and have a good day.